Chapter 536, Holy Turtle Island, King Jinhuang. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. A great commotion arose the moment Zhang Yuochen set foot on the Holy Turtle Island with Huang Yanchen, Alxinian and Orange Star Emissary. Who is this man who truly knows how to enjoy life? How outrageous of him to bring three stunning beauties along to the battlefield of primitive world. A burly, bearded man was licking his lips as he set his eyes on Alxinian, Orange Emissary, and Huang Yanchen. His mouth watered with envy and jealousy. I suspect he's a disciple of some saint from a powerful family. A man with pouted lips and sideburns like a monkey's fixed his eyes upon the three ladies and said, "Oh my, what beauties! If only I could get my hands on one of them, I would be sleeping with her in my bosom every day." Would anyone rather be spending time risking bloodshed in the battlefield of primitive world? Zhang Yuochen and his entourage not only created a spectacle for the soldiers of primitive world, they also attracted the attention of the masters of the black market. Green-robed emissary and Iron Lady emerged from the crowd and stood before Zhang Yuochen, blocking him. Behind the two were 6 evil warriors from the black market. These 6 evil warriors were sent by half-Saint Yuanying to deal with Zhang Yuochen. Each of them was a superior in the 3rd change in the fish-dragon realm. They certainly had not reached the level of cultivation beyond the 7th change in the fish-dragon realm, so they could enter the Xuanwu primitive world. Zhang Yuochen stopped in his tracks, cast a glance at green-robed emissary and said, "Behold, we meet again." Green-robed emissary snorted and said, "How audacious of you, Zhang Yuochen, to have the guts to come to Holy Turtle Island. Are you not afraid that I would send you to hell?" Zhang Yuochen said, "Who dares to kill when the army of the Ministry of War is stationed on the island?" At that moment, both Zhang Yuochen and green-robed emissary were soldiers of primitive world, so naturally, they had to obey the regulations of the Ministry of War. On the battlefield of primitive world, any form of struggle or fight at close quarters among soldiers of primitive world was prohibited by the Ministry of War. Those who violated the laws and regulations would be severely punished regardless of their status. Green-robed emissary already knew that Zhang Yuochen had by now accumulated more than 20 million military merits and would soon break through to the ultimate realm of the Heaven Realm. Half-Saint Yuanying had ordered him to kill Zhang Yuochen at all costs. Do you think the people from the black market wouldn't dare to kill you just because you are on Holy Turtle Island? Green-robed emissary broke into a somber smile as if to mock Zhang Yuochen's ignorance and said coldly, "Go ahead, Hua Wuji." From among the 6 evil warriors standing behind green-robed emissary emerged the hunched figure of an elder with grey hair, looking to be at least 80 to 90 years old. This man was Hua Wuji. Hua Wuji set his eyes on Zhang Yuochen, gave out a low laugh and said, "I don't have many more years to live anyway. After killing you, there will be no need for the Ministry of War to mete out its punishment for me. I shall end my own life." Hua Wuji's cultivation had reached the 5th change in the fish-dragon realm, therefore he was already a well-known superior in the black market. For a master of the 5th change in the fish-dragon realm to deal with Zhang Yuochen, who had merely reached the completion of Heaven Realm, was to use a sledgehammer on a nut. The soldiers of Primitive's world finally realized that this young man who was accompanied by the 3 stunning beauties was none other than the Heaven Board's number 1. Zhang Yuochen. The black market has never been short of martyrs. To sacrifice one more life is not a big deal if it means Zhang Yuochen will be annihilated. Considering Hua Wuji's level of cultivation, only a handful of generals from the Ministry of War would be able to defend themselves against him. The evil warrior is indeed a sly fox. Looks like Zhang Yuochen is in deep trouble. A lot of the spectators felt sorry for Zhang Yuochen. The black market had sent so many evil masters who were a generation older. How was he, a mere name on the Heaven Board, to overcome them? Green-robed emissary folded his arms and curled his lips, appearing to be holding back a smile. Zhang Yuochen looked at Hua Wuji who was standing across him. He tried to dissuade him by saying, "Senior Hua, why would you torment yourself by coming to the battlefield of primitive world? Wouldn't it be better for you to enjoy your life in retirement back in the black market?" Hua Wuji fiddled with his sparse beard as his lips parted to reveal 2 rows of broken teeth. He smiled and said, "How could a saintly monk desire to enjoy life? Anyway, I am left with only a few years to live. What is stopping me from achieving something magnificent? If I manage to kill you, I can leave a name for myself in history even if I die. Huo Wuji, the one who killed Zhang Yuochen. As Huo Wuji clenched his fists, a layer of golden light appeared on the surface of his skin and great strength radiated from all the pores of his body. Could anyone still recognize any trace of Huo Wuji's old age at that point? Zhang Yuochen frowned. He glanced at Orange Star Emissary who was standing behind him. Orange Star Emissary, have a little sparring practice with Senior Huo. Orange Star Emissary was rather taken aback by Zhang Yuochen's command for her to step forward. This was completely unexpected. Once she stepped up against Huo Wuji, she would be at loggerheads with the black market completely. Going forward, there would be no chance to turn back and join the black market ever again. No one knew that she killed Jinhuang, after all. Now though, she was being watched by a crowd. If she obeyed Zhang Yuochen's command to fight against Huo Wuji, word would travel and this news would shake the Eastern region. It might even be reported in the Eastern region report. At that point, she would definitely be deemed an enemy of the black market. What to do? For a moment, the Orange Star Emissary's eyes betrayed her in a struggle and hesitation. However, she eventually trod slowly towards Huo Wuji until she was face to face with him and said, "Excuse me, Elder Huo." Orange Star Emissary was, after all, a disciple of the Ghost Saint. Moreover, she was an emissary of the Black Market Excellence Hall. She held a high position and a distinguished status. Huo Wuji would not dare lay hands on her. Huo Wuji threw an inquiring look at Green-Robed Emissary. Green-Robed Emissary responded with a cold look and said, "Do you even know what you are doing, Orange Star Emissary? If you dare to go against the black market, the young master will not spare you." Hearing Green-Robed Emissary call out the identity of Orange Star Emissary, the surrounding soldiers of Primitive World gasped in shock. She's actually Orange Star Emissary, one of the 7-star emissaries from the Black Market Excellence Hall. No wonder she's such a stunning beauty. But how did she become the subordinate of Zhang Yuochen? Weren't the Black Market Excellence Hall and Saint Academy in constant conflict? This is going to be exciting to watch. An emissary painfully nurtured by the Black Market Excellence Hall now subjects herself to assent from the Saint Academy. How will the black market strike back? Orange Star Emissary maintained her calm composure, kept her eyes on Green-Robed Emissary, and said, "Don't tell me what to do, Green-Robed Emissary burst into laughter. He readied his fists and said, "It seems that your wings are hard. Let me see the skills you have picked up from Zhang Yuochen since you have become his die-hard follower." Green-Robed Emissary's eyes emitted 2 powerful rays of vital essence and he instantly came alive with vitality and energy. He stepped forward with his left foot and instantly an indentation appeared on the ground. The ground looked as if it was going to collapse. With his foot, he kicked up a whirlwind. Riding on the power of his kick, Green-Robed Emissary suddenly dashed forward like an arrow flying off about to land a punch on Orange Star Emissary. The power of his punch encircled and wrapped around Orange Star Emissary like a giant bell. That meant Orange Star Emissary was trapped. The moment Green-Robed Emissary threw his punch, so there was no escape for her. Wanting to teach Orange Star Emissary a lesson, Green-Robed Emissary was being really hard on her as he used 30% of his power in this single punch. This was because he knew very well that Orange Star Emissary's strength would not be able to withstand even 10% of his power. To use 30% of his power was enough to seriously injure Orange Star Emissary. Only by being taught a lesson would she realize who was superior and who was weak. As Orange Star Emissary saw Green-Robed Emissary's fist approaching, she thrust her arm forward in a flash and caught Green-Robed Emissary's fist in her palm. Green-Robed Emissary felt as if his fist had hit an iron wall. He looked intently at Orange Star Emissary. His eyes widened in astonishment. Crash! After Orange Star Emissary retracted her palm, she immediately thrust it forward again to hit Green-Robed Emissary's fist. This time with even greater speed. Green-Robed Emissary retreated over 10 steps backward before he found his footing again, his arm tingling with pain. Unbelievingly, he said, "How is this possible? You managed to break through the level of the Fish Dragon realm." Orange Star Emissary stood absolutely still as she withdrew her hand and said, "Green-Robed Emissary, You are ranked 4th among the 7-star emissaries and you are 6 years my senior. However, you have only attained the level of the first change in the fish-dragon realm. Do you think you are my match? To be honest, I have reached the peak of the second change in the fish-dragon realm and will likely progress to the third change in the fish-dragon realm anytime soon. Green-robed emissary looked at his hand, glared at Orange Star emissary and adamantly said, "That's impossible. Just 3 months ago, your level of cultivation was only at the final state of the heaven realm. In the short span of 3 months, it would be impossible for you to reach the second change in the fish-dragon realm even if a half-saint bestows you with Abizka." Even without green-robed emissary's incredulousness, Orange Star emissary herself was quietly surprised the moment she struck green-robed emissary with her palm and saw him get pushed back. She would never have imagined that she, within such a short span of time, would overtake green-robed emissary whom she had looked up to in the past. It was a wonderful feeling, and it affirmed her conviction that she should not leave Zhang Yuochen at that moment. She had to continue to break through to higher realms with the help of the yin-yang wooden graph. Orange Star emissary stole a glance at Zhang Yuochen and slowly said, "What was unachievable for the saint has been achieved by this young man." Green-robed emissary's expression turned hideous with rage. "Let's all go forward, kill this bitch and get rid of Zhang Yuochen," he said angrily. Iron Lady, Pure Wuji, and the 5 other evil masters simultaneously surrounded Zhang Yuochen. Instantly, the surrounding atmosphere became oppressive as a great war became imminent. "Stop!" A bellow sounded from afar. Everyone, including Zhang Yuochen, felt strong vibrations in their eardrums. They felt their minds go dark and could barely hold themselves upright. Almost all of the Heaven Realm soldiers of primitive world on the Holy Turtle Island fell to the ground on their knees as their legs turned to jelly. Only the masters who had reached the Fish-Dragon Realm were able to barely withstand the powerful sound wave. Even so, they felt great discomfort. Rumble. The great sound of turning wheels was heard coming from the eastern sky. A golden cloud drifted swiftly towards their Holy Turtle Island and came to rest on top of it. Zhang Yuochen lifted his head and beheld a golden chariot in the midst of the golden clouds. The 99-meter-tall chariot was like a resplendent palace. Its array of golden inscriptions was like concentric circles of divine light wrapped around the chariot. 8 iron chains as thick as buckets with lengths up to 333 meters were fastened to the 8 bronze rings at the base of the chariot. On the other end of each iron chain, a red cloud python was locked. A total of 8 pythons were dragging the iron chains, which in turn pulled the chariot across the void space at high speed, making loud noises as the chains clanged against each another. The 8 pythons' golden armor chariot, that is His Excellency, King Jinhuang's. Everyone on the Holy Turtle Island, including the Fish-Dragon Realm soldiers of primitive world, immediately saluted him by kneeling down. King Jinhuang, also known as Half-Saint Jin, held the noble title of King of Inferior Domain in the First Central Empire. At the same time, he was also the chief commander of the Huanghe Island base. His role was to oversee all the soldiers of primitive world who came to Huanghe Island base. In the esteemed presence of the Half-Saint, all living beings bowed in worship precisely because of the highly esteemed status of the King Jinhuang. Even the superior warriors who had reached the Fish-Dragon Realm knelt down immediately in salutation. At present, everyone on Holy Turtle Island was kneeling down in salutation except for Zhang Yuochen and his companions, as well as the evil warriors from the black market, who were still in a tense confrontation.